This is just an excerpt from a full episode. If you enjoyed what you hear here, go check out other full episodes, either on YouTube or as part of the podcast feed. Enjoy! Schrodinger's employee news now. Uber, a company that has more official controversies than official employees, are tracking a new approach to tackling a niggling problem they can't seem to shake: employing their employees. I mean, it is in the name, but then language is fluid and words mean what people say they mean, irregardless of how you feel about it. So if Uber says employees aren't employees, who are we to argue? They are trying out a new contract sent to Uber Eats delivery drivers, which requires them to have an ABN and to take out their own insurance, and appears aimed at stopping claims that riders should be treated as employees. Much like the famously misunderstood Schrödinger thought experiment, where he is both cancelled and isn't cancelled for killing and not killing a hypothetical cat in a box. Their thought experiment goes: if I pay someone to do a job and refuse to give them compensation and support, can they exist in a superposition of being both an employee and a contractor until observed by local law enforcement? It's quite a conundrum. The new contract stated drivers who signed the agreement were self-employed contractors, and there was no employment relationship between you and Uber, Portier Pacific, or their affiliates. Drivers will be allowed to pass on deliveries to other drivers and can take work in other delivery apps. The contract also gives Uber the right to alter the terms of the agreement and terminate it if the rider engages in conduct that has the potential to cause adverse publicity, media attention, or regulatory scrutiny, or which may be detrimental to Uber's reputation or brand. A provision labelled as a gag order by the union representing the drivers. It is a bold choice for multi-controversy holding Uber to deem that its contractors are doing something that could ruin the reputation of Uber, who in a single year had 2 #DeleteUber campaigns, a tell-all essay about toxic workplace culture and practices, possible theft of self-driving car documents from Google's parent company Alphabet, firing an executive for pursuing a passenger rape allegation, and had a data leak. That is quite a single year to have, and that was all before July, in what was probably internally referred to as Uber's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad year. I mean, if this is the benchmark for having a good reputation, the employees really need not worry about any behavioural clauses. They can just point back at Uber with the bloody hammer that they've just used to bludgeon a rider to death and say, "At least I didn't deny and try to cover up rape allegations, Uber." That is definitely worse than this hammering thing. The Transport Workers Union National Secretary, Michael Caine, said,
"Some men just want to watch the world burn."
Oh, no, apologies, sorry, that's Michael Caine with a C. I need Michael Caine with a K. Can we get Michael Caine with a K, please? There we go. The contract's gag order that prevents workers from speaking out in any way that may lead to regulatory scrutiny is appalling and shows that Uber is well aware that it imposes working conditions far below the standards expected in Australia. And we allow a lot of wage theft, so the standards aren't really that high to begin with, guys. The new agreement follows Uber's decision to settle a high court profile case of a former delivery driver in December last year. It would have been the first ruling in a federal court on the employment status of Uber's workers. And they can't have these cases going to court. That would be opening the box to see if the cat is dead. These workers should be happy to be able to exist in this superposition of employed and not. They could go to work and take a day off at the same time. It'd be amazing. It's like being in lockdown. You might have to work, but pants are definitely optional. Kane said that the contract reeks of desperation to shore up a business model which relies on exploitation. And if they want to exploit workers, well, they may as well transition fully to being a restaurant, not just delivering food. At least people will happily give you the excuse that razor-thin margins justify your exploitation. Maybe you should be in a better business. Look, while we're talking about stealing, let's look at it from the other perspective. Supermarket chain Kroger is charging an employee with stealing nearly $1 million from the company. Trey Brown created more than 40 returns for non-existent items and put them on several credit cards. Gwinnett County Police say he was able to steal more than $980,000 in just 2 weeks between December and January. And people accuse this generation of being lazy. Just under $1 million in 2 weeks. That is motivation. But, like any of these guys, it's hubris and greed that was the ultimate downfall. Honestly, I am a little impressed. The work is sloppy, but the ambition is impressive. I mean, honestly, if he owned the business, he'd just be a white-collar criminal, looking down the barrel of a light sentence while he negotiates his movie contract. He'd probably be directed by Martin Scorsese, and he might even be lucky enough to be portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio, despite the horrible age difference. Guy is definitely in the same category as these Wall Street criminal types. Police said Brown used the stolen money to buy clothes, guns, shoes, and 2 cars. That is a Martin Scorsese film right there. The main character has a little too much melanin, but it definitely hits all the right notes. Reportedly, Brown is being charged with 1 count of felony theft, and a portion of the money was returned after Brown's arrest, which, if I'm being honest, actually makes the outcome better than most of these Scorsese-type protagonists who either end up dead, in prison, or with money hidden somewhere, or just making a cameo in their own film. It's quite a life to live.